For west is where we all plan to go someday. It is where you go when the land gives out and the old field pines encroach. It is where you go when you get the letter saying, "Flee." All is discovered. It is where you go when you look down at the blade in your hand and the blood on it. It is where you go when you are told that you are a bubble on the tide of empire. It is where you go when you hear that "Thar's gold in them Thar hills." It is where you go to grow up with the country. It is where you go to spend your old age. Or it is just where you go. For when you get in love, you are made all over again. The person who loves you has picked you out of the great mass of uncreated clay, which is humanity to make something out of. And the poor lumpish clay, which is you, wants to find out what it has been made into. But at the same time, you, in the act of loving somebody, become real. Cease to be a part of the continuum of the uncreated clay and get the breath of life in you and rise up. So you create yourself by creating another person, who, however, has also created you, picked up the you chunk of clay out of the mass. So there are two yous, the one you create by loving and the one the beloved creates by loving you. The farther those two yous are apart, the more the world grinds and grudges on its axis. But if you loved and were loved perfectly, then there wouldn't be any difference between the two yous or any distance between them. They would coincide perfectly. There would be perfect focus. As when a stereoscope gets the twin images on the card into perfect alignment. There is nothing more alone than being in a car at night in the rain. I was in the car, and I was glad of it. Between one point on the map and another point on the map, there was the being alone in the car in the rain. They say you're not you except in terms of relation to other people. If there weren't any other people, there wouldn't be any you, because what you do, which is what you are, only has meaning in relation to other people. That is a very comforting thought when you are in the car in the rain at night alone. For then you aren't you, and not being you or anything. You can really lie back and get some rest. It is a vacation from being you. There is only the flow of the motor under your foot spinning that frail thread of sound out of its metal. By like a spider. That filament. That nexus. Which isn't really there. Between the you which you have just left in one place and the you which you will be where you get to the other place. Her eyes were glittering like the eyes of a child when you give a nice surprise. And she laughed with a sudden throaty, tingling way. It is the way a woman laughs for happiness. They never laugh that way just when they are being polite or at a joke. A woman only laughs that way a few times in her life. A woman only laughs that way when something has touched her way down in the very quick of her being, and the happiness just wells out as natural as breath and the first jonquils and mountain brooks. When a woman laughs that way, it always does something to you. It does not matter what kind of a face she has got either. You hear that laugh and feel that you have grasped a clean and beautiful truth. You feel that way because that laugh is a revelation. It is a great impersonal sincerity. It is a spray of dewy blossom from the great central stalk of all being. And the woman's name and address hasn't got a damn thing to do with it. Therefore, the laugh cannot be faked. If a woman could learn to fake it, she would make Nell Gwyn and Pompadour look like a couple of campfire girls wearing bifocals and brown gripper shoes with bands on their teeth. She could get all society by the ears, for all any man really wants is to hear a woman laugh like that, after a great blow or crisis, after the first shock, and then after the nerves have stopped screaming and twitching. You settle down to the new condition of things and feel that all possibility of change has been used up. You adjust yourself, and are sure that the new equilibrium is for eternity. But if anything is certain, it is that no story is ever over. For the story which we think is over is only a chapter in a story which will not be over. And it isn't the game that is over. It is just an inning. And that game has a lot more than 9 innings. When the game stops, it will be called on account of darkness. But it is a long day.